Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're on iRacing today, and we're going to try and recover some of that iRating that we lost on that live stream when we had a pretty much disastrous day. So we did the VRS, the Sprint Series and the fixed Ferrari at Watkins Glen, and we had some really bad luck. I mean, as you can see now at Watkins Glen, this was probably the worst luck. We did have one race where it was my fault 100%. I thought that I gave the guy enough space, but we ended up colliding. But this one here, I think, was no doubt, this was frustrating. The most frustrating one of the day. We were in the lead of a reasonably high rated fixed series race, and you can see going into this corner, we gave him space and he just cut across our line, and he tried to put the blame on me for that one, which I would have to say 100% there's no chance. You can see here our lines are going towards the curb on the left hand side to give as much space as possible. He had pretty much half the track, but decided to put the blame on us. So let's see if we can recover some of that lost iRating that we lost during them races at the VRS and the GT3 Sprint and Watkins Glen. So we're going to do all three races the same. We're starting this one. This was an insanely high ranked lobby. I think I did one lap, second lap I didn't get the good lap in at all. So yeah, we were starting at the back, but it was like a 4.3k strength of field, so very fast drivers in this lobby. And yeah, let's see what we can do as we start the race. The leader must have been going back in two, because the whole field was getting all like clogged up. So I don't know what the leader was doing here. I decided to back off there because there was just no point getting right behind all them. So going into turn one, you can see we've got a driver on our right hand side. We're going into the braking zone, and we're just going to try and play it safe. We're not going to take too many risks. You can see braking nice and early. See the car on the right brakes quite late. We're just going to take it nice and sensibly because it's going to go really slow through here. You can see a little bit of contact from the driver on the right hand side. We're going to take it really tight through there, as tight as we can go. Stay to the left hand side now. We learned from the previous race we're going to stay as far to the left as I physically can. So you can look almost on the white line there, staying to the left here, and then suddenly going through the corner we get a massive whack from our right hand side. So in typical iRacing style, I was not very happy at that. I don't know what happened, but yeah, we're bouncing all over the gravel there, rejoining the track, and let's just take a look at what happened. So going into turn one, it was actually, for a Monza race with almost 30 cars on the field, it was pretty clean, I have to say. Quite well driven, obviously top split lobby, so yeah. But then going through here, you can see the two cars on the right not really giving much space to each other. He's trying to squeeze him. I'm all the way to the left, giving plenty of space, and then there's contact between them, and the Audi just sideswipes me. We're off the track, driving through the gravel, and yeah, not good at all. Now, it was only a little tap that we got from the car. However, what I did notice was that our straight line speed seemed very slow after this incident. So as we go through here after that incident, we see two cars spinning back onto the track, not really giving much attention to oncoming traffic, I would say, as well. Possibly could have waited a bit before they do that 360 in the middle of the track. But yeah, this is iRacing, absolute havoc as usual. As we work away a little bit further on in the race now, you can see we managed to catch up with one driver in front of us here. Quite a long way back in the race here now. We're on up to, I think, lap 16, where we were just driving around on our own because we had no slipstream, and also our car was just so slow down the straights. It was, I don't know what had caused it, or there was a tiny bit of contact into turn one, and then we got whacked on the side, but I didn't feel like that was enough to cause any sort of major damage. But you can see we've managed to get the slipstream from this Mercedes. We're going to let this car on the right hand side go down the inside. See, we're going to let that Ferrari just take that position because he was one of the drivers that had spun at the start, and instead of fighting him, I decided, you know what, I know my car has got an issue with straight line speed, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in your slipstream and stay in your slipstream for as long as possible. You can see I'm trying to just tell him, get back on the racing, like, well, let's not lose time, let's use racecraft, let's just work together, and I'm going to try and use him to help my race pace a little bit for a couple of laps, because I think this is a problem on iRacing as well. I see so many people that just race for them. They don't really race smart sometimes. But when you've got damage, there's no point in me trying to battle him. You can see we're skipping ahead a few laps here, and we still managed to stay in the slipstream. We actually gained quite a bit of time. We started doing laps that were about 3 tenths quicker, 4 tenths quicker a lap, purely because we got the slipstream just to sit behind him. But yeah, this shows you why it's better to do that. So we're going to pit this lap into the pits, braking nice and early, not risking anything because we're not exactly in a brilliant position. We're not fighting for much. But look at this, as we go into the pits, 36 seconds worth of optional repairs. So we must have, I don't know whether we got under the car damage from when we went over the gravel, or whether it was a contact from the side, but that is why we were probably quite slow down the straight. So really does show you just how sensitive the iRacing damage model is. You know, tiny little contact like that. I was actually quite surprised when I saw that. I was took really by surprise, because I was like, what? 36 seconds? And that explained to me why our pace was just nowhere on the straights, and you know, through the corners wasn't too bad, but on the straights it was just awful. So yeah, fast forward the action here. We've got a car behind us as we come out, and we're not going to battle with him again. We're going to play the smart game again. So coming through here, you see, look at the difference in straight line speed here. You'll see it now. As soon as we're getting into 5th, 6th gear, you see, look at the pace difference. It's just almost an easy pass for the drivers that we're racing against, and that can't all be set up. We decided to just lift and let him go at the end of the straight, because again, there's no point fighting him. There's no point going side by side through that chicane, because we both lose time. So yeah, I just took him behind him, and now we're going to try and do the same thing with this driver as we did before, where we're just going to try and sit in his slipstream and let him help us, really see if he can drag us along in this race just to recover some sort of position. But unfortunately through there we make an error and we get a slow down penalty. Gran Turismo, you'd get away with that line, but unfortunately on iRacing it's very sensitive on the inside first apex. So yeah, we had to back out, and yeah, we dropped a place. So I think we're in P19 at the moment. Again, we're going to let this driver go on the inside, because I'm not going to give up this position though. You can see I did that on purpose, because we're coming to the end of the race, and yeah, I'm going to get his slipstream and see if we can use his slipstream to try and help my wounded car to be able to get this position back. So you can see, tucked in nicely. We did a wide line through that final corner. We're going to get in the slipstream, and we're going to try and do an overtake into turn 1. We might as well have some fun in this race if we possibly can. So yeah, brake as late as we possibly can and hold the inside line. He gives us plenty of space there, and we managed to take that position. So we get that position back up into P19 again, and then we're going to come through to a few laps later. You can see he's in our slipstream, and he's not going to go for the move here. You can see he backs out. Clever, because yeah, if he gets us there, we're probably getting back into turn 1. As we come through this corner, we've got a car spawn, and luckily we managed to take a tight line without the rear stepping out. You saw it almost step out on me, but we managed to save that, and we're working our way down into turn 1 again. So yeah, is this Ferrari behind me gonna go for a move? He's got the slipstream. I'm gonna stay to the right hand side of the track and try and brake as late as I can and get it stopped right on the apex. So yeah, we're gonna go into the braking zone. We brake really late, slowing down the car pretty well there. Hits the apex perfect. There's a bit of contact there, and I thought, do you know what, that might be my fault. So I decided, let's let him go back past, because I don't want any arguments on iRacing. You know, in instances like that where I wasn't sure, I thought I'm just gonna let him pass, because also the incidents are building up here. So yeah, I felt like it was a good idea. However, when I watched the replay, I think that I was too soft. I think I should have held my line, because if you watch this here now, I braked, hit the apex perfectly, I'm ahead, he just turns in and clips the rear of my car. So looking back at that, I think I should have been 100% just saying, no, that's your fault. But yeah, maybe I'm too soft sometimes, but we let him back through there and sat in his slipstream, and luckily we managed to hold on to his position. Now the car behind on the final corner did have a little look up the inside here. I was like, nope, just shut the door there, make sure he didn't have any thoughts of that, get back in the slipstream with his Ferrari and going over the line. So yeah, I think I was way too soft on that one. However, we managed to come home, and not the greatest position, but we managed to recover iRating in a way. Considering we had damage, we only lost 4 or 5 iRating, I think it was. I think we lost 5 iRating, which, let's be honest, that's not too bad. So next up, we're into the fixed version of what we've just done. 20-minute race this time. Now fixed setups. I'm in the Ferrari again, and this one is again 4.3 strength of field, 4.3k strength of field, so quite a high lobby. And we managed to qualify P13 out of 20. We're ranked 16th in the lobby, and we managed to qualify P13. So not bad. It wasn't a perfect lap, but I will take that. Let's see how the start goes. This is always the most nervous moment of an iRacing race, because we all know about lap 1 on iRacing. It's a wreck fest. And Monza, add Monza turn 1 into iRacing, and it's a recipe for disaster. So going down into turn 1, can we survive this first corner carnage? So we're staying to the left. We've got a car on our right hand side, and he's going to cut across us. So as soon as I see him cut across, I was like, well, I'm backing out. I am not taking any risks here. So brake nice and early, and then we're just going to try and go around the outside here. We don't want any contact, so 0 X's so far, taking it nice and tight through there. And amazingly, we've all got through the Monza turn 1 chicane with no damage and no crashes. I don't know what's gone on, but someone must have been very happy on the server. Everyone must have been really happy, because somehow no disasters. It's all quite smooth. So going through here into the second chicane, can we get a bit more luck? Can we have 2 chicanes at Monza without a crash? This will be amazing. It looks like we have. I was genuinely quite shocked. So yeah, this guy here, I don't know what he's backing out for. Maybe he's got somewhere to be, needs to win the race. But yeah, he tucks him back behind us, and then he lets more cars go back through. So yeah, even though we lost a few positions on that first corner, I think it was, we went down to like P13, 14 or P15. I think we've just gained 1 position there. So yeah, now we're going to go to the Ascari chicane. We're going to fast forward the action there as we're following the BMW, and a whole lap without any real crashes. So quite an interesting one. Monza, no crashes on lap 1. That's the first time I think that I've seen that in a long time. So now into the first chicane again, no incidents. We're getting very close to that BMW, you can see as we're fast forwarding this action. We're having a little look every now and then, and we do seem to have a bit better pace now because, one, we've got no damage on our car. For a first time in a long time, we've got 0 damage. So it's actually nice to be able to drive at Monza with a car that's actually got the straight line speed. So yeah, we're actually able to put some pressure on and drive quite well. So we're right behind this BMW. Now coming through here, this is always scary. We've got smoke in front of us. I didn't know where he was, and then luckily he's on the right hand side there. BMW into the wall, and that's 1 more position gain. So yeah, a little bit of a nervous moment there as I did panic a bit because I couldn't see him with all the smoke going on. As we fast forward the action a little bit here, we're going to now go for a move on this BMW. You see, we got the slipstream from that BMW, and we've got a car that isn't damaged, so we're actually going to be able to go for a move into the braking zone. Can we manage to hold this now? So yeah, braking as late as we can. He brakes very late here, I also noticed this, so I try and make sure I give him space. So look, we stay to the right hand side, we give him plenty of space, and yeah, he manages to hold on to that position. But we do get a better exit. We're going to look down the left hand side now. Not going to be able to get a drag on him there, but we're going to get back into the slipstream and maybe go for a move into the second chicane. So let's see what we can do here. We pull out of the slipstream, and we've got a nice run on him. I'm surprised he didn't go defensive. Very surprised. We're going to brake nice and late. We brake late in him. We've got a perfect run now into the apex. We give loads of space. There's a tiny bit of contact there, but I think he didn't really give me enough space, if anything. And he's flashing his lights. So yeah, maybe he's not very happy with that move. But in my opinion, I think I was fair there. I think I gave enough space, and I think it was a good move. So up 1 more position, and we're doing quite well. Now we've got to try and chase this battle in front of us as we have a little look behind us, and we've got a car spinning off on the second Lesmo. So he's out of the race pretty much. No, don't need to worry about that driver. But look at this chaos that's building up in front of us. We've got 2 wides going through to the Ascari chicane. Can we manage to gain a position from what's about to kick off here? As we see the yellow Ferrari almost gets pushed off, but manages to hold himself on the track. We have to kind of back off through there, but get back on the power nicely for the straight. And now we're going to try and see if we can go for a move before we go to the final corner here. Can we make the move? We're getting ahead, and he's actually going to, yeah, I think he's going to take that and just tuck him behind us. He has a little look up the inside here, but yeah, I just braked nice and early. I didn't get flustered by that and take a normal line. And now we're going to be working our way down the main straight. Will he go for a move back into the first chicane though? This is going to be interesting. We know what people are like on iRacing. You do tend to get quite a lot of dive bombs going on in the game. So we're going to stay to the right hand side. He's going to try and go to the left or right. What is he going to do? He tried to fake it. I go to the right hand side, defend that right hand side. He's now going to try and take it all the way around the outside, is he? So we brake nice and late. I think he actually backs out here. So I think he backed out. We managed to hold that position and just about, we give him space. Now he's flashing here. I wasn't sure if it was in an aggressive manner. However, I actually think what he's saying is, let's not battle. I think he's doing what we do. Because again, coming into this chicane, I go defensive, and if you look at his lights again, he's starting to flash. So I think what he's saying, he's doing what I do. He's just saying, let's get on with the race. Let's not fight this out, because if we fight, we're going to lose time. However, yeah, Mr. Numpty here cuts the corner and gets a slowdown penalty again. So frustrated with myself there. So we're going to try and do this tactically and lose as little time as possible. So what you want to do is just lift off the throttle every now and then, brake a little bit earlier, let it go down. So coming out of this corner, I'm going to go to the right hand side, let him go past me there. And then the aim is to tuck back into his slipstream after I start to, lift a bit. So let the penalty come down and then tuck back into his slipstream and try and stay in the toe of the yellow Ferrari. So yeah, it's very frustrating when you get them tiny little penalties like that. I was really annoyed at myself for that. But yeah, it is what it is. That's the penalty system on iRacing. You have to live with it. The track limits are there for everyone. And yeah, we're going to skip a little bit further ahead now. We've managed to stay in that slipstream. and we managed to do quite well actually, keeping pressure on. I wasn't overdriving it, and I decided here we got quite a nice run. The car almost going loose through that final corner, just about holding on to it though. And yeah, this was really enjoyable for me because this was our first race in a high strength of field lobby where the car wasn't damaged. It's also fixed setup, so it's really nice to be able to compete with very good drivers. So going into turn 1, we're going to go for the move on the inside. Can we outbrake the Ferrari? And you see he's actually going to lift, and pretty sensibly doesn't battle it because he knows probably if we battle it, we both lose time. So he does what I normally tend to do. I just lift off, tuck in the slipstream, and yeah, there's no point fighting too much. Now, we did some few laps of very good pace. You can see we almost broke the slipstream to that yellow Ferrari. So yeah, we did actually have a bit better pace than him. I was quite surprised. Maybe he had a bit of damage or something, I'm not too sure. But coming up to these two cars now, as we approach the, I think this is coming up to the final lap of the race now. We drove really well in this race, and you see we've got two cars in front. We've got the Ferrari and I think a Mercedes as well, looking like they're having a bit of a battle. Now, we all know about iRacing and the final lap, and how people too do like to do a bit of a last lap dive bomb. So look ahead now. We're going to zoom in on the action up here, and we see he's gone for a move, he's shut the door, and they've both collided, and thank you very much. However, look at this for a rejoin. We're on the outside, and he comes straight across the racing line. Thank you very much for that bit of damage. You can see as well, the front left of my bonnet lifted up, because we picked up a bit of damage there, and we pick up a bit of iRacing incidents, but you know, what could we do there? He just came right across the track. Luckily for me, we stayed on the track, even though we just about avoided him. Some very quick reactions, and we managed to get past that Mercedes as well. So we're up 2 more positions on the final lap, which is nice. Puts us up to P8 in this race. Now all we've got to do is try and hold on to this position for a pretty strong finish in a 4.3k strength of field race. So yeah, trying to hold it on the track, trying not to make too many mistakes now. We fast forward the action, keeping it nice and smooth. And you can see that Ferrari behind us. I'm not sure if he was gaining a bit more than normal. Maybe that little bit of damage we got was affecting our straight line speed. But yeah, into the final corner. He gave us a little flash again to say, don't worry, I'm not going to dive it. Which is always nice to know, because if you know someone's like that, they're just pretty happy to come home in P9. Yeah, it's all good. So we come home in P8 in this 4.3k strength of field race. Very happy. I think that was about 55 iRating points gained, or maybe 60, I can't remember. But it was a nice chunk of iRating to pick back up. So next race of the day, we're going back to the race where we lost the chance of a win. This time we've managed to qualify in P1, and the lap actually wasn't the strongest. I think the qualifying temperatures were like 48 degrees track temperatures, which again, I'm not a massive fan when the temperatures go really high like that, but yeah, it was a pretty solid lap. I think the race started off around 48, but I'm convinced the temperatures must have dropped for the race, but we'll show you that now as we go to the start of the race, as we're going to try and go slow through and then get an early jump on someone. But the car behind me is very impatient. You can see he's hitting my rear. I don't know what it is with iRacing, but I swear people are just like, I don't know, there's damage on this game, but people drive it like GT Sport. I'm telling you now, it's crazy. But luckily for myself, I don't think we picked up any damage from the little hit off him, and we got the jump on all of them, and we're going to work our way through the first lap and try and see if we can build up a bit of a gap. So always nice to start on P1 in iRacing, because you're in control of the start. It's up to you when you go. Just a bit frustrating when you've got people that, yeah, are just ramming your rear at the start, but that's iRacing for you. As we try and break that slipstream briefly and then go into the bus stop chicane, and we're going to try and really take this as fast as we can. You see, very smooth through there, smooth there, using all the curb. I absolutely love that chicane on iRacing at Watkins Glen. This track I absolutely adore. It's one of my favourite tracks in general. It's a track that I would like to see go on other games, for example GT Sport and other games. But yeah, we're in the lead of this race, so P1 qualifying, now in the lead of the race. Can we hold this on? This is going to be the question. Can we keep this first lap out of the barriers and keep it smart and, you know, keep it safe? One thing we don't want to do is cold tyres, make a little mistake and lose the lead straight away. I wanted a bit of redemption for that race that we did live on the stream, where we got took out right at the end of the race, you know, from a possible win in a quite high rated lobby. But yeah, let's see what we can do in this one. Can we manage to hold on and survive the race and pick up a very well earned win? It'll be a very difficult job. You can see the car behind isn't slow. It's putting us under pressure, but what I did notice was we were able to actually, we were pulling out a little bit, 10th here, 10th there, and he's got the slipstream. Now this track is very much a slipstream track. You gain quite a bit of being in the slipstream. So if we can manage to break away from him with him having the slipstream, we know our pace is pretty strong. So skipping ahead by 1 lap, you can see we're coming to the end of lap 2. and we've got the gap up to about 0.8 seconds, I think it is. So doing quite well there. You can see just moving over to the right just to briefly break the slipstream to see if we can get a good run out of turn 1 and maybe pull away again. So yeah, doing okay. We do turn 1 quite well there as we fast forward the action for this lap, keeping it nice and smooth. Another pretty solid lap this, you can see. This is why I think the temperatures were possibly slightly different in the race to qualifying, because qualifying pace, I know they were 48 degrees and I think we only did a 47.6, which was pole. However, in the race, you can see now as we go over the line, it felt like it was a bit more grippy. It felt like there was a bit more speed on the track. So we go over the line, and I think we're going to go over the line on a 1 minute 47.2, I think this lap. Yeah, 47.2. First lap was a 47.3 and then a 47.2. So clearly conditions a little bit better for the race than they were for qualifying. Obviously now with dynamic weather on iRacing, you do get slight variations in track temperatures and stuff. So yeah, it just felt a lot faster now, a lot more grip, and the laps, it wasn't like I was overdriving it either. So you can see we've actually managed to break the slipstream from the car behind. However, we're going to move on to the final lap, and we all know what happens on a final lap. A last lap bottle. Will we bottle it on the final lap? We've got a back marker in front of us. Now that's a little bit worrying, because one thing you don't want to happen is any incidents on the final lap. But this is iRacing, and we all know how iRacing goes. So coming through into the bus stop chicane, let's see if we can survive this lap. We're going to go through here and we're going to slow it down just as we come through the apex, because you're going to notice a yellow flag appear, and I panicked. I saw smoke. You see I turned right. I panicked because I just saw the car spinning and thought I'm going to have to go right. I panicked big time, and we got a slow down penalty for it because I saw the yellow flag. I literally just turned off the track because I didn't want to hit him. Luckily though, we had a 3-second lead at this stage on the last lap, so we got rid of the penalty there, and now we just got to try and get the car going again, keep it smooth and not make any mistakes for the final few corners, and we should have the win in this race. So a little bit of a nervous moment at the end there, may have had you forward there with the last lap bottle, but yeah, it was kind of like a panic moment. I saw him spinning and I thought, which way is he going to go? So I decided to stay as right as I could. It probably was a good decision, and if we would have took that corner properly, maybe we would have hit him. So yeah, we managed to come away with the final race of the day with a win, and we've actually got that iRating just on the 3.4k now. So doing pretty well. As we skip ahead, you can see just on the 3.4k, the road to getting that iRating back over 4k is well and truly underway. I feel pretty confident we can do that. I say when we don't have damage on the car, I definitely see an improvement in the pace. For example, at Monza, I was able to battle with drivers that were 4.4k and stuff. So very interesting. I'm hopeful we can get our iRating back over 4k and, you know, keep racing in these top split races. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll be back with more of these videos in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Bye.